2.1 million years ago, North America was very different. Across vast grasslands, herds of giant mammoths moved slowly across the land. Cold winds carried the breath of the Ice Age. Deep in the forests, saber-toothed predators waited silently in the shadows. Massive bison herds moved across the valleys. Wild horse herds ran across the plains, kicking dust into the air. The world was wild, but it was in balance. No one knew that beneath their feet, kilometers below the Earth's crust, an immense force was building. A force that, if it awakens, could reshape an entire continent. And today, we know this place as Yellowstone. More than 2 million years ago, the balance of this world was broken. First, the ground began to tremble. At first, small vibrations. Then, stronger earthquakes. The herds of animals grew restless. The mammoths changed direction. Flocks of birds rose into the sky. But there was nowhere to escape, because the disaster was coming from below. Kilometers below the surface, massive magma chambers were slowly filling with pressure. And finally, the Earth's crust could no longer withstand the pressure. And then, in a single moment, Yellowstone erupted. A colossal column of ash rose into the sky. The eruption was so powerful, the ash plume rose nearly 40 kilometers into the sky. Torching clouds of gas and ash raced through the forests. Hundreds of kilometers of land vanished within minutes. But the disaster was far from over. Ash rising into the atmosphere was carried by powerful winds across the continent. Today, scientists still find traces of that ash in Canada, in Mexico, and thousands of kilometers across the continent. When the eruption ended, the Earth's crust collapsed, and a vast depression formed, what scientists today call a caldera. The land where Yellowstone National Park stands today is the mark left behind by that massive eruption. But the real question is, did this colossal system truly awaken, or has it simply been sleeping ever since? Hundreds of thousands of years passed. The wind scattered the ash across the land. Rain slowly reshaped the land. Forests returned to the land, and rivers flowed once again. And over time, humans came to these lands. Today, where that massive eruption once occurred, stands one of the most famous national parks on Earth. Yellowstone National Park. Every year, millions of people come here. Colorful hot springs, towering geysers, and one of the largest geothermal systems on Earth. Everything looks peaceful, but beneath this landscape, the story is far from over. Because beneath Yellowstone, a vast magma system still lies below. According to scientists, beneath Yellowstone lie tens of thousands of cubic kilometers of magma. That is why beneath the park, hundreds of small earthquakes occur. Every single year, thousands of times. Most people never notice it, but scientists do, because Yellowstone is one of the most closely watched volcanoes on Earth. All around the park, seismic sensors, satellite monitoring, gas analyzers, and GPS stations are constantly collecting data. They track the rise of the Earth's crust, the movement of magma, and shifts in pressure. Because everyone is asking the same question, if Yellowstone erupts again, what happens next? A supervolcano eruption would not destroy just a city, not even a nation. It could reshape an entire continent. The first eruption would launch a massive ash plume tens of kilometers into the sky. Within minutes, superheated clouds of gas and ash would surge across the land, burning everything, erasing everything. But the greatest impact would begin in the sky. Ash and gases rising into the atmosphere could dim the sun. Global temperatures would begin to drop. Scientists call this a volcanic winter. Agriculture would decline, and the global food chain would begin to break down. And modern civilization has never faced a disaster like this before. But scientists agree on one thing. Eruptions of this magnitude rarely happen suddenly. There are warning signs first. Earthquakes increase. The ground begins to rise. Gas emissions begin to change. Which means, if Yellowstone awakens, we might see the warning signs. Deep beneath the Earth's crust, a massive energy system still lies dormant. And history teaches us this. Sometimes, just before the world changes, everything seems perfectly calm. But Yellowstone's story did not end 2 million years ago. This giant system erupted again. Around 1.3 million years ago, the world shook once more. Another colossal eruption reshaped the landscape, but the most significant one came around 640,000 years ago. That day, Yellowstone erupted again. Ash rose high into the sky and spread across North America. Nearly 70 kilometers wide and 45 kilometers long. So massive, most visitors never realize they are standing inside a supervolcano. Beneath Yellowstone, two massive magma chambers lie below, one about 10 kilometers deep, the other, a vast ocean of magma reaching nearly 40 kilometers underground. But the real question is still the same. Will Yellowstone erupt again? Most scientists believe a major eruption is unlikely in the near future. But they also know Yellowstone is one of the largest volcanic systems on Earth. And one day, it may awaken again. If it does, modern humanity will face a supervolcano eruption. And when that day comes, one question will remain. Can we stop it? Or, just like 2 million years ago, will the Earth unleash its power once again? Axiom Earth continues to explore the greatest mysteries of our planet. To be part of this journey, subscribe and turn on notifications. Axiom Earth.